for people to show up. And that's a minute. Let's roll tape. Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron Cowan. This is the Living Joke Podcast. Oh, it's been a busy day, and we're going to jump right in with the guys because I unfortunately have a recording at 5 o'clock. I've solved this problem. Last night I went and redid my schedule, so today I was bookended. I had one before this and one right after. I fixed my schedule. People can't book themselves that way anymore. They have to wait at least a half hour, and they have to stop a half hour beforehand, which is good. So let me bring in the guys right away because we have a lot to talk about. Connor, what is that on your face?
A new toy.
Oh no! Now we have to speak to Marshmallow. Good lord,
No,
that's
I
it's
don't.
the.
I don't have to be Marshmallow. Let me switch. Here, I'll be Reaper. No, I just wanted to show it off. I thought
No, it's
audience
a
might
no.
like it.
You
It's
and
cool.
you and Will do the funny. I
I
have to
can't
do
wear it the whole
something.
time anyway.
I have to do something crazy for an intro one of these days because you and Will do the most with sunglasses and LED masks and all this type of. See, here we are again. Yeah, exactly. I've
Well,
got to
Bo's
do.
inspired me as well.
I know. I've got to do something crazy. I know.
Um,
I've got to do something crazy at some point. Um, but no, I want to dive right in. I want to remind everyone that we are on Instagram, TLJ_joke. And I also want to remind everyone to go ahead over to our Substack, thelivingjoke.substack.com. There's actually new content this week. Will has done yeoman's work actually doing content. I'm behind on actually doing content. I have tons of video files. Are they uploaded for you to watch yet? No. But Will's done amazing work on that, so make sure to visit us there if you want to keep up with the show. I want to thank everyone who's been watching, and boy, have y'all been watching. I'm continually amazed at the enthusiasm and the momentum that this show has already gotten. And we're about to go on our first guesting adventure next Tuesday. We're recording on another comic book show with a guy named Mars, who's been a longtime collaborator of mine. I started the second version of the Cameron Journal about the same time he started his shows, and so we've been working together for 6 years now. And he does a show. I think it's called the Unexplained or Unexposed Comic Book Podcast, something like that. And we're gonna go guest on his show next Tuesday, so that'll be really fun. And we're gonna talk about all things MCU and comic books and gaming and all this type of thing. He's an OG gamer, so I know him and Will are gonna have a lot of things to talk about. And then I also want to remind everyone that we are part of the Soupcast podcast network because, again, I'm trying to get everyone in the habit, and me too. So we are part of the Soupcast podcast network. You should make sure to check out the other podcasts on our network. Those are also on Substack. And for our icebreaker today, to get the conversation going with you guys, now that the housekeeping is done, Labor Day, I took the weekend off. I did. I'm so burnt out between two shows and everything else I have going on. I took 3 days off. It was glorious. It was a slog to get back into work yesterday, and I did a lot of things, and I'm kind of tired today. How was your weekend, everybody? Labor Day, long weekend. How was your long weekend?
Not bad. Pretty chill. Not like I'm doing a ton anyway, even without the long weekend. So
Yeah.
normal, pretty much.
No,
I worked half the weekend. It was good. I do finally have a new job after 8 months of searching and switching careers. But now I work on a horse farm, so I really, really love it a lot. That's what I was doing.
no, that's a good thing.
And then
Yeah,
we got a
Labor Day.
nice couple days off.
Yeah, that was nice. And the weather has not been too crazy hot lately, which is kind of nice. We're
Mhm.
easing into fall here in New England, which is good. So, we're about 2 weeks away from being invaded by foliage people.
Oh no.
Yes, the Family Guy skit is real. Leafers, run!
It's true.
Yes,
From a
that's about to
town
be our
that was.
reality.
I came from Connor and I did come from a town that's known for like leaf peepers.
Yeah.
If you're
Oh, yeah.
familiar with the Berkshires in Massachusetts, boy, it is a plague to live there. Lovely to visit if you're rich. Otherwise, there's fucking nothing else going on for the average person. But yeah, it's fall is always crazy. Everybody hypes the apple picking, and that's big.
Mm.
That's big up there. Going to a harvest festival is the this fall everything. Everybody loves fall. Whatever.
No, I was never a big fall autumnal person. However, I do miss driving up into the mountains and seeing aspen leaves turning in mountains in Colorado, which you can actually do right now because it's colder up there, so they turn sooner. You can start that right. The prime viewing is like September up because it's so high up. It's much colder.
Something's going on with my audio, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it sounds okay for me.
It sounds fine. Oh, there's maybe a slight echo.
No, it just disconnected for a moment. It's fine.
It's
good,
a little
good.
bit loud. That's all. All of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Anyway, I'll vamp while you work
Yeah.
on that.
Anyway,
Yes, I do
I'll just talk
definitely.
quieter.
I do definitely miss seeing the aspen turn in the mountains, but that's as far as it goes, sort of thing. East Coast fall is beautiful. It is very colorful. I get why people are into it, but we are unfortunately with the scene of the invasion here soon. So that was good. Well, we had a productive Labor Day weekend. We're gonna jump right into the chat because, as I said, I gotta be out of here at 5 to go talk to Nikki Honorado, who's a black woman. She's a dating expert, so that'll be interesting. In our first segment, we're going to talk about game remakes, the good, the bad, and the ugly, including Metal Gear Solid. So I'm going to start off by saying, what games have they remade that they probably shouldn't have?
most of them, I would say. My the biggest offender to me is the Resident Evil 1 remake. It came out initially for the GameCube, and then later because they had exclusivity. But it changed a lot. It made it a lot more of. I feel like it takes itself too seriously, and it really focuses more on the horror aspects of things. People who are really fans of that more, I don't know, intense atmosphere, I guess, of horror where they feel that real sense of danger. I can appreciate that, but to me, the remake, they cut out all the stupid dialogue, which I love. I love the stupid intro that's all black and white and their corny uniforms and everything, because it was a hokey fun horror game. They literally pulled random white dudes off the street to do voices that all just happened to be there on vacation at the same time. And yeah. Wow, what a mansion. It's just, all these classic lines from Barry are missing. You were almost a Jill sandwich. It didn't take itself too seriously, even maybe unintentionally, but that's my biggest offender. That's my biggest hated remake.
Imagine you're some poor intern standing at a train station on a night out for white people. Like that's what a job. What about you, Connor? Terrible remake you don't like?
Unfortunately, right now I don't have any actual remakes, but since it's similar and we've been talking about Nintendo online, or Nintendo and the Switch 2 a lot lately,
Yeah.
I'd like to mention, not that I expected this, I'm sure we all did, but even games that already exist on the Switch, let me read this. If you already own The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, you can spend another $10 to upgrade it. I've looked at maybe next time I'll drop a link, but I've looked at the video, like, for the graphic and lighting improvement, it's barely even noticeable. And then the big thing that they're, like, bragging about it is that you can share, if people aren't familiar with the game, you have a building system and can use what are called Zonai parts to build various vehicles and such. And they're making it so that you can share your auto builds with friends online. And I love this nonsense of, what's up, make everybody pay more. It is free if you have Switch Online, but still, the idea to me of paying the extra money for something that they could have just added to the Switch version.
Yeah, it's an $80 entry point for somebody who's never. Well, if you got a brand new Switch or Switch 2 and Tears of the Kingdom, which is still probably $60 if I had to guess. That's what are they charging for the Switch 2? 500, 400?
500.
It was 500. So you're $560 in, $80 for the Nintendo, $90 for the Nintendo Switch Online with fucking everything.
Yeah.
So you're in over $600 just as an entry point. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, I feel like. And it's not even that much of an improvement. It'd be one thing if this thing was really like, the tits, like the future of gaming, but it's not. It's a slightly hyped up, more powerful Switch.
Now, I actually have a contribution here. 2 things. One, which is very rare in a gaming segment. I usually just sit here and look good. But one is I'm playing a remake right now. It's a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit remake that was made for the Switch. I went and looked at the original one, which I think I might have played back in the day, and the improvements are marginal. Now, for me, it didn't matter because I bought it for $5 on the Switch Marketplace, so I'm not in it that much. But if I'd owned the original and I was looking at this one, I would be disappointed. They did add some cars and things, but it was nominal, very, very nominal. The other one that did not do well in the Civilization franchise, I think I'm the only person besides Connor that does a good RTS thing here. They did a remake. There was a weird version of Civilization called Alpha Centauri. I played it. They did another version of it. It was so panned at the time that they never did another Civilization remake ever again. I mean, this was several years ago that came out. They never did another one because people were not happy about that sort of thing.
Don't you fucking touch it.
Well, the argument was the improvements you're making are marginal, and don't you have a new edition of this game to put out anyway? So maybe go into the corner and get to work on that. Worky. And then we got Civilization 4, which I think was the best one of the franchise. Yeah. So shortly after we got Civilization 4. 5 was okay. 6 is a regrettable purchase on my part. It's but 4 was the peak of the franchise, of the Civilization franchise. 4 was perfect. It had everything it needed, nothing more, nothing less. They could have ceased production after that and have been fine.
Yeah, I don't play RTSs. Yeah. You're the only guy here that does RTS besides Connor. Well,
yeah,
you two do. But Connor, it's different RTSs. You two play different types.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure.
I'm the one that enjoys planning factory logistics and dealing with resources and production. That actually makes me happy. So I realize I'm a very strange person who's like, oh yes, I've got things to build and stuff to produce and logistics to figure out. Best get to work.
I don't play those games because I play it like The Sims at my own pace. And... well, until my friends told me what to do, but the only one I really ever got into was AoE 3, Age of Empires 3. And I'm just like, oh, my little town hall, look cute over here. We'll put the barracks over here. We got a little farm plantation. And then all of a sudden, my friends are already in the Bronze Age, and I'm still, like, barely out of the Stone Age. And then they come and burn down my village. And I'm like, my village!
Yeah.
And then, the game's over.
Yeah, I mean, especially and you're also in those games. You're optimizing for so many things because you got. I mean, when I used to play Civilization, it was always kind of first to gunpowder if you're going to do a military victory. So here's how old I am. Back in the Civilization 3 days, I actually had the entire tech tree on a poster on my room, and I had the exact
Nice.
path traced out to get to gunpowder as fast as possible, and I just repeated it every single time I played.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
yeah, so it is, and you're also balancing the logistics of troops and upgrades and promotions and technology and population and all of these things. And yeah, this is why I'm playing AoE Mobile, is because I enjoy doing those things. But yeah, the one Civilization remake did not end well. So and the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was okay, but final thoughts on gaming remakes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Are there any good remakes? Are there any that we can say, yeah, value add?
I'd have to play it, but I heard it. Well, not a remake, but a
Oh,
remaster. I heard Elder Scrolls 4 Remastered was really worthwhile. Oblivion,
Mm,
and that maybe
uh,
at some point I'll play.
yeah.
the Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remakes are all very good. The only thing, when we talk about Metal Gear Solid in a second, you'll understand what I mean, is that the Reach for the Stars engine, everybody thinks it's the Resident Evil engine because it's called RE. It's just a code name. But it's called the Reach engine. And like it seems like every single 3D over the shoulder third person camera game now is running on that same engine, and that's going to be like my gripes about MGS3. But the remakes of the original games, and the most recent one is RE4. Fantastic. I think they did great. I think they added a lot more tension, and in a setting like that, it's they made it not they really stylized everything well. I'll say that. And new weapons are fun, story's fun, everything's fun. I like it. It's a great game.
Yeah, well, let's dive into the Metal Gear Solid thing because I wasn't quite sure where you were going with that. So take us there.
So I dropped a link in the document. It's just
Oh, have
we don't need to stay on it like super long because I know you have a hard out. We have more to get to. Um, I would say the biggest thing, I will talk about a lot of things here, but the biggest part, I would say, go to 5 minutes and 58 seconds and start it from there.
558. All right, let me do.
So this is a
Let
direct
me find
comparison
my
video
marker.
between the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which came out on PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and then it's the newest remake, which just came out, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Well, it's just Metal Gear Delta or whatever the hell they call it. And I'm not saying it doesn't look good. I mean, obviously it looks good. It looks like every other
The
game.
environments were detailed in a very specific way that didn't necessarily.
You can mute it. You can mute him.
Okay.
We don't care what he has to say. Sorry,
Okay.
but
No,
we're
no,
using
that's
your video,
fine.
but we don't care what you have to say, sir. Sorry.
No.
You you'll see, like, this is the PlayStation 2 version. It does have kind of a filter over it. This is meant to really jive in the Cold War, like, spy type. Everything was heavily stylized. The outfits, the environments, the lighting, the everything. And now when you're looking at it, it's like, yeah, it looks more realistic, but it looks fucking boring. You took away the lighting, the way, like, Kojima, when he made this game, like, Kojima does everything with intent, and you just, like, don't fuck with it. Because Konami fired him and banned him or whatever. The biggest, as a quick, just back to the video here before I
Yeah.
rant about Kojima, you can see them running through the grass here. The foliage obviously looks nicer. I mean, it's the higher resolution. like, you know, it's definitely gotten quite the overhaul, I would say. But some people's comments, it's like, yeah, if you've never played the original game, I guess I would understand. But like, people who have played the original game and are saying this are like, oh my god, like the grass, like you can barely see anything through it. Like this. I'm like, oh my god, it's like the same as the original, and it actually looked better in the original because it was stylized. Like, it's like it just looks boring. It just looks like every other game now. You got the bloom and the what the hell is that thing? The foreground blur or whatever when you zoom in,
Yeah.
the aim focus thing. All right, you can cut the video.
Okay.
But
No,
yeah,
I was gonna say,
Konami
I
fired
think,
Kojima.
yeah, I think it's an aesthetic thing. You know, like it looks different and quote unquote better and clearer, but that gritty aesthetic isn't there anymore. Like you've lost some sort of the sense of this is a unique product with a distinct aesthetic. And Kojima's
Mhm.
very into that sort of thing. You kind of lost
Mhm.
that aesthetic end of things, and I think that's what's missing. I think that when you say it looks boring, I'm kind of like, well, no, it's very interesting, but it doesn't have any aesthetic. It has no vision. It has no soul. That's what's
Right.
missing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's missing the soul. It's like, you know, as much as AI music is good, and I've been listening to a lot lately, the four guys, I've been listening to Reggae Wars, the Star Wars reggaes. But um you know, I forgot what I was gonna say anyway.
Well,
Let's move on.
AI music, much like this upsample,
Oh
it
yes.
looks nice, but it lacks soul. You know.
It lacks soul. It sounds really fun and it's really cool, and it's mostly like, it sounds close to what a human would play like, or, you know, a real band. But there's still, you know, it's not quite there, and you can still tell, and yeah, again, it doesn't really have the soul. It's fun, but it doesn't have the soul put into it.
Connor, thoughts on MGS versus Solid?
I've never even played those games, and there were a couple moments that really, even without like the attachment to the original, I can really see what Bo's talking about. Just particularly when Solid Snake was standing in like front of that building, and you can kind of see up and the sky and such. The
Yeah.
the one on the left looked unique. The one on the right, I'm like, that could be Red Dead Redemption 2. That could be any, like, just throw out a fucking name. The Witcher, any
Mhm.
adventure, open world-ish kind of, like, looked absolutely no different.
Yeah, we need to stop on the realism train. This is
Yeah, well,
just getting too much. Who's that guy, that basketball player? What more do you want from me?
Yeah. Well, I think there's some people who really want to like live in and inhabit these worlds in a way that I think others find a bit dissatisfying. One of the things you always talk about, Will, that I find very interesting, because I'm kind of more of those, yeah, more realism is better sort of thing, is you always talk about video games as a means to escape and dissociate, and a hyper realistic world doesn't really allow you to do that. I think that's interesting. Like, I had never thought about that sort of thing until you mentioned it, sort of thing. But I think that's interesting as an idea, as an aesthetic, as a core function of the product. Like, as someone who builds things and, you know, essentially manages product, sort of thing, I would take that feedback and say, could this be a core function of our product where we make things, we intentionally make it an escape, rather than trying to do hyperrealism. I think that's interesting.
The Connor's mention, and of continuing on the stylization thing, it was stylized that way, and I mean, maybe this is just a symptom of a generational thing, which I totally get. I'm getting old. For what the kids say is old. I'm 32. But it was meant to feel like you were in like a real spy thriller, the real like ultimate espionage motion picture. That was that game. and it did it without all the. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has some long ass cutscenes and some really everything's metaphors. Um, um, but it did a lot without having to explain everything. Like you didn't get a tutorial every 5 steps, or you don't have like the on-screen HUD that shows you all the buttons and what they do, and it's like, okay, I get it, but just god damn it, it just sucks.
they-
Just make it look. I don't know.
No, I
What were you gonna say,
think as an aesthetic choice, it's interesting. Do you want to look at the Zelda one now? You sent me a video.
Just play like 30 seconds of that. It's also just a comparison video, so people can see. Like before you play it real quick, here's ultimately my point on games like this. If you're a parent, unless you're like filthy rich, if you're a parent and you want to get your kid a system or whatever, just get them original freaking Switch with Zelda on it. You don't need to spend $600 for what you're about. The differences you're about to see, in my opinion. So I thought I'd share this. If you skip to like 116, yeah, and then just play like 30 seconds. As you can see on the left is original, on the right. The only thing that sticks out to me in this is the FPS, which is barely anything.
Yeah.
What about the light? Even the lighting, they said, is gonna. It really doesn't look that much better to me, if better at all.
I mean, even if we just kind of pause it for a moment and just look at this scene. Okay, the shadows are more defined.
They
There are
added
more
rocks.
voiceovers here. yeah.
Look,
Like-
they added rocks.
Yeah.
The only even difference I'm seeing is like how the things look like they render in a little better at like the 60 FPS, but otherwise, to me, it doesn't even look like they really improved like the graphical aspect of it.
I think
Now,
everything is whatever they did, it's very subtle. That's,
Yep.
Does-
you know.
Yeah, okay, the grass looks nice, but do you really care about the grass?
I don't. I turn it off in most games when you can.
because,
Like,
whatever.
Yeah.
it's like speaking RTS, like in Total
Yeah.
War Warhammer. It's like have grass on. No, why do I need to
I
look
think
at the
that the
grass?
lighting, like in that picture right there, I think the lighting looks worse in the remake. Like
Yeah, and are they even
everything like has
standing-
a shine over it, you know.
I can't even tell if Link is in the same spot in that picture.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I don't know.
it is supposed to be because they were doing like a side by side run through of the same part of the map. So it is
Oh, I
supposed to
guess
be,
it's
but
just
there's
probably at a
noticeable
different
difference.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like
Oh
different
my
camera
gosh!
angles and
Wow,
things
this
like
is
that,
totally
yeah.
worth $600.
Yeah.
Mother, I want this Switch too. Son, you're 37 years old.
you can
But
speak more
ma'am.
human.
We've moved into this era where I don't know, even game developers who I used to think are good just don't want to like. Again, you could have just upgraded this game or given people the auto build stuff, but no, you want to give people another reason to feel like they need to buy your new $600 system.
Well, and let's face it, at some point this starts to enter into being a business decision, you know.
Yeah, of course.
For better or for worse, people like me come along and say, that sounds like a great new feature, it cost X to develop, what's the ROI on that? And it was like, okay, well, to get ROI, we're going to need to do, you know, a $10 upgrade for existing users, and then we're going to ship it with certain percentage of Switch 2 consoles to get people to pay for it. Sort of thing. I mean, that's, you know, unfortunately, the business side comes in and is like, okay, here's how to launch this and make money off of it. So,
But
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just a shame that we've moved from an era where, in peak gaming, where I felt like they did a decent job balancing their businesses and balancing gamers' wants and desires, to now it's way more focused, if not entirely focused, on the company making money.
yeah.
Blizzard, submit to our desires.
Yeah, basically.
Blizzard Activision.
Well, which, yeah, good luck. good. If we're waiting around for Blizzard Activision to get its act together, especially now with fabulous Microsoft on board, we're gonna be waiting a while. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Hang on.
Oh, he killed
First
me.
first you disappeared.
Well, no. So one of my cameras,
Oh no!
unfortunately died.
I'm stuck in the nether realm. Help!
Hang on. No,
Oh God!
Right.
He's
Like
coming.
Chargers.
I was just.
Diddy was
changing
about to get me.
cameras. Yeah, for some reason, the Lumina Plus camera died for no reason, and so I was just switching to RAW so I could have my picture back. But, as we tear the condom off, is what is happening here. And I know AI is gonna clip that now. I shouldn't have said that anyway. Anyway, final thoughts on games, gaming remakes, all this stuff. We're gonna move on.
It's not looking great right now, but we can hope for some better games. And there's
Yes.
some non-remakes that look good. There's some okay new games, but we can talk about it time, of course.
Yeah, we'll save that for another day. I want to get right into segment 2.
Mhm.
This was a segment we kind of eliminated last week because we of time, but so I put it right up for this week, and that is the post community breakdown after COVID. We had this. Here's how this started. We had this conversation like, where is public courtesy gone? Where is the consideration for other people? And this all started because Connor came home from Target and was very displeased with the behavior of the local public here in Connecticut. So Connor, tell us more.
Yeah, I guess I'll just start with the story.
Yeah.
I wish I had the woman's name because she deserves the credit, but she will be nameless Target employee for the story. But I was in there the other day, and I've run into this cashier numerous times, and she. Oh yes, I was bagging my own groceries. This should not be a big deal. And this lovely woman said to me, "Thank you for helping me." So I asked her, do people really not bag their own or just expect you to do it? And yeah, of course, people just stand there and watch, even though it's like this Target is so underemployed. It's awful. It's like you go in and there's like 2 registers open on a busy Saturday. It's like a busy day. And this poor woman. And so we had this conversation, and then she also told me how she was out of her own just good grace an hour over her shift because 2 other cashiers just called out. And, I mean, she could have left, but she chose not to. She also, if I had to guess, she didn't tell me this, but I would imagine that she's over here on a visa, or what's the other thing, like H-1B?
That's one type of
For
work visa.
foreigners?
There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple.
Oh,
different
so, okay.
programs, yeah.
Well, if it fits under that branch, these people don't get treated properly by companies. Not that anyone is, but especially not them. I promise you, rather you think it's against the law or this, that, and the other thing, I promise you the majority of those people are not making nearly as much as a worker that's already a citizen here. Treat people with respect in general, but God, is it that hard? Like, you're in a store to, like, help somebody? I get that it's their job, but you can't take the effort to just... How hard is it to grab your cereal box and put it in the bag, even if you don't want to do it all? There's exceptions, I'm sure. You know, if you come in there with your kids and it's chaotic, I get it, but ultimately my point is just try to help others with stuff. There's no reason that you have to dump all that on people.
No, I was kind of... I remember when you first told me about that, I was sad but not surprised. I used to work at Target 20 years ago, sort of thing, and saw lots of that sort of stuff. But I also, I also just know that, I mean, yeah, I think since the pandemic, people forgot how to behave in public. They forgot how to behave on planes. They have poor they've forgotten how to drive for sure. I mean, there's just a whole set of social skills seems to have has been degraded by the whole population, and I feel like we need to have a new national seminar. Like, all right, everyone, get out your phone or tune in on Saturday at 8 p.m. and we're going to, we're going to go over rules of polite society. Everyone, all of us, all together now. I feel like we all need a national lecture on how to behave in public again. We seem to have forgotten.
Yeah. Being I became an EMT and I never like used my certification until like 5 years after I got it. And then I worked in 2019, the beginning, and I worked through the height of the pandemic, where out there in the gowns and the masks, and not knowing, if we're gonna die or what, if I get sneezed on or something, because it just seemed, nobody knew, and both those COVID vaccines, or all three of them actually, gave me a DVT in my arm. Um, but yeah, people have been just absolute fucking assholes. Not the beginning of the pandemic, but like after that, like a year or two in, everybody's just like been such a fucking dick lately for no discernible reason other than, I don't know, but again, lack of public courtesy. Down here in Connecticut, are the worst drivers. I mean, I mean, well, let me say. So I've lived
Except for Pennsylvania.
near and around, yes, in near and around the tri-state area. And I've lived down south and whatever. New Jersey drivers are passive and stupid. New York drivers are passive and they do like defensive driving. They're passive and they do like pretty defensive driving. But everybody, again, leaf peepers if you're upstate. Most towns have like 30-mile-an-hour speed limits in upstate New York. It sucks. Um, and Massachusetts drivers are aggressive but not stupid. Connecticut drivers are stupid and aggressive. And I mean, fuck, we almost got in an accident coming down here. I skidded around on the highway when I was moving Connor in, and truck almost hit us. But yeah, I mean, I've had guns drawn on me since living here in traffic. There was like a literal roving gang of people that like, I mean, it was like a funeral or something for like a gang member, and they were running a lawless funeral procession speeding down the middle of the fucking highway. I mean, like a 2-lane highway, which is like a 30-mile-an-hour zone. They were all going like 60 miles an hour and whatever. So I'm just trying to get home, and so I just flip people up. I'm like, I got fucking ice cream in the back seat, and it's like 100 fucking degrees out. I'm fucking hot and miserable, and these fucking douchebags want to play. Well, yeah, he chased me, drew a gun on me, a whole bunch of shit. Just like, people are fucking ridiculous. If you don't have your license to carry, or you live somewhere that allows it, I suggest you get one. I think you should protect yourself at all times, because people are just fucking nuts now. I mean, just that guy on the plane with the Burger King crown, that's like the most hilarious one. I won't say the word he said. I'll say the new AI term. This is the AI hate speech term, clanker. And so they dubbed over this guy going, "Get that clanker bitch off the plane!" She's a clanker!
No, I was I was when it comes to the gun thing. I knew a guy, friend of a family friend, who went down for manslaughter for getting in a gun-based altercation on the New Jersey Turnpike. But I was also laughing about when I was in 2020. I had broke up with my ex-girlfriend, didn't have anywhere to go, and so I traveled for 6 months. I met Will for the first time. Went up to Massachusetts, stayed there for a month. Actually 2 months. I was there for a while. And I'd driven all over the country, and I was going back out to the West Coast, and I stopped in California to see a friend of mine, and I, by that time, had traveled almost 8,850 miles in 6 months. And he asked me, he's kind of like, you don't carry a gun with you? And I said, no, I've never felt the need to, sort of thing. And he was absolutely gobsmacked that I travel like I do, you know, by road all over the country, because I've done all these huge road trips, huge tours, you know, speaking contests, all this type of thing. And he's absolutely gobsmacked that I don't travel armed. Absolutely gobsmacked that I go around with just myself. I'm like, I mean, I'm a weapon, sort of, so that's all I feel I need. I try not to go places I don't need to go, don't need to be. That helps a lot, but you know, sort of thing. But beyond that, you know, that I know I don't. But he was amazed about that, so I'm not surprised you say that, because that, yeah, he would agree with you.
I would not want to get slapped by one of your dinner plate hands. No, thank you. One of his hands is like the size of my whole head.
Yeah, I have giant ass hands. And here's what's frightening. My father's hands are bigger because he's 7 inches taller than me. So his
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's no. That's why do you think big black people are good at basketball? We have more hand on the ball.
I was gonna say you could cup my skull like a basketball and like whip me around.
Oh my goodness. All right. We have 15 minutes left. That was interesting. Thank you, Connor, for your story at Target. I agree. Be nice to waiters, waitresses, checkout stand people, common courtesy. Let's do that. Before we go, because I have a recording at 5, Mace Windu may be coming back to Star Wars, and we have an article.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, do you want to lead us off with this, Will, or shall I read? Which would you like?
You know, you can go ahead and read it off.
Okay, so it says here, lovely picture, Star Wars finally reveals Mace Windu's fate after Revenge of the Sith. Says here the prequel trilogy, though not as beloved when it first debuted, delivered much of what fans had longed to see since the original trilogy, More Jedi. Set during the era of the Old Republic, it brought more intense Jedi and Sith action, along with a host of iconic characters. One standout is Mace Windu, portrayed by Samuel L. Jackson, who quickly became a fan favorite. At the time, Windu was regarded as the second most powerful Jedi, surpassed only by Master Yoda. Known for his mastery of lightsaber combat, he cemented his place as one of the most popular characters in the Star Wars saga. However, as fans recall, Windu seemingly met his demise at the hands of Palpatine after Anakin's betrayal, and hasn't appeared since. While the films never actually explicitly confirmed his death, most fans accepted it as fact, though recent developments and speculation hint his story may not be over after all. We never actually saw Mace Windu die, did we? Losing a limb is hardly a death sentence in the Star Wars universe. We've seen that before. And while he was thrown out of a window, we never witnessed his fall or any confirmation of his death. Sure, he hasn't appeared since, and everyone assumed he was dead. There hasn't even been a mention of him by the Empire's officials, unlike some other Jedi. But did we really see him die? Not quite. With that in mind, Samuel L. Jackson recently spoke about the possibility of returning to the franchise. He expressed a strong interest in reprising the role, even hoping for a standalone series similar to Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Jackson shared his thoughts, quote, "There's a history of one-armed, one-handed people in the Star Wars universe. So just because they cut my arm off and I fell out a window doesn't mean I'm dead. I'm a Jedi, the second most powerful Jedi in the universe next to Yoda, so I can float. Yeah, he's out there."
Yes, you should
Yeah.
be able to. Should absolutely be able to.
Yeah, sure, this might not mean anything in the future, but Samuel L. Jackson's pretty convinced that Mace Windu is still alive. Plus, there are older stories, now considered non-canon, that could provide Disney the perfect opportunity to bring the character back. And let's be honest, who would complain about that? So,
I mean, I could
A standalone series for this would be awesome. But go on, that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Just I'm excited. Mace Windu. I loved Attack of the Clones. Um, I loved Mace Windu. I love Count Dooku. I think they're fucking great characters. Yoda's great. Like, obviously, all fan favorite characters. At least for me. I mean, Yoda's an obvious shoo-in, but yeah, we never really did see him die. He got his arm cut off, then he got blown out the window, and I think the window was like wherever they were was like pressurized, and when the window broke, he like was trying to like hang on, and then Palpatine hits him with the lightning. But yeah, I mean, yeah, he could probably fly like Yoda can fly, or he could, even if he got to the ground, he could probably, like give a little force push or something, get a little soft landing going. So I feel like maybe Mace Windu, the story they could go with is like Mace Windu's been in hiding, kind of like, hopefully they don't make it stupid like the second of the new trilogy with Luke on the island or whatever. Oh, everybody hated that movie.
Yeah, I wonder why. Even
But
that
yeah.
played Luke
But
Skywalker.
If he do something where he's been in hiding and like organizing like behind the scenes and stuff, and because of course Samuel L. Jackson's older now, so it'd be great to see him return to this role, and he's this old sage now Jedi that's just had years in seclusion and reclusiveness to just hone his power and do whatever to be able to take on the Sith.
Well, yes, maybe he's become king of the Ewoks or something.
Oh hell yeah, dude! The Ewoks are the best. I love the Ewoks. Ewok is in one of my D&D campaigns. I'm an Ewok.
Yeah, that's I always enjoyed Queen Amidala from the prequel trilogy because I love the clothes. They're based on Mongolian royalty garb. I was the type. Here's how I was.
Goddamn Mongolians.
Yeah, like the type of gay I was as a kid was, yes, I love the new Star Wars movie. The fashion was stunning. I was that type of guy. But I could live my life like that. Big head dresses, long clothing. I don't walk very fast. I could get into that very easily. Yeah.
Elegance.
Exactly. Yes. Very, very yes. I could live quite happily as that. Also, very, very famous line with Natalie Portman saying, so that's how democracy dies, with a vote.
With thunderous applause.
Yes, with thunderous applause. That one excellent line. Yeah. So what I think having him. I think here's the thing. Disney needs some help to get this franchise back on the ground, to get it going again. And I think if I were Bob Iger, I would be on the phone with his agent already. Like, do you have a script? No, but we'll get one. Don't worry. Leave that to me. Like, I would get him a calendar request and get him booked for filming next year. And
they need to bring back George Lucas.
George does not. He's retired. George is so retired. He has no interest. He is so retired. Like, he's just. Is he so retired? I mean, every time anybody brings up him writing or doing anything with it, he always kind of shakes his hand and is just no. Like, I think him selling it to Disney was his cash out.
Well, they kind of
on a beach.
They kind of strong armed him though. They kind of fucked him out of it.
Yeah,
I think he got a raw deal on it.
He probably wouldn't disagree with you.
And he's probably can't say anything either.
I would imagine, yeah, there's so much contractual shit about that. I'm sure there's a lot. I would say he did get screwed a little bit. The deal wasn't great, sort of thing. But the way he talks at like cons and things, it doesn't seem like there's any enthusiasm for him to go, And does he really want to work for Bob Iger?
No.
So
no. I mean, I don't want to work for Bob Iger, but hey, Bob, if you see this, we've got tons of ideas to save your company. You should call us.
Yeah.
Save your reputation. It's not even about the company.
Summer 2027, Poor Unfortunate Souls, the Ursula origin story. this is a billion-dollar blockbuster. We will sell so many movies. Bob, call us. But yeah,
He doesn't need to. Now he can just steal our ideas. No.
No,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
copyrighted right
Well,
Yeah,
now.
this is the proof right here.
yeah, we just mentioned it first. Yeah, you can. Yeah, we could definitely sue for that. Which would be a lot of fun. We'll settle out of court for a lot of money.
You may not
Um,
use this video for fair use, Disney.
Um,
Any and all
but-
affiliates under the Disney company. There, I cover the whole spread.
No, but I think Disney needs a familiar face to get Star Wars going again. I think this is this is kind of the on ramp to it. If I were Bob Iger, I would get this in development yesterday, absolutely, because it's very, very much needed. So I think it's good. So, but all right, guys. Well, it's 5 minutes to, and I have a recording, so we gotta go.
No problem.
I want to thank everyone for coming and watching. We really appreciate it. And of course, Will and Connor, thanks so much for doing that show with
Thanks for having us.
And, yeah.
We're always happy.
So, yeah, no, thank you guys for doing this with me and us and everything. And just, like I said, the momentum and the attention that we've gotten already is just so amazing and magical. So thank you, everybody, for watching. My name is Cameron. That's Connor, that's Will, and this is the Living Joke Podcast. We are here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Again, you can catch us on Instagram, TLJ_joke, or everything you need is on Substack, thelivingjoke.substack.com, including Twitch links, streaming schedules, all that fun stuff. Connor will be playing WoW this weekend. So, go join him for that. And I know that Will will be mixing it up. We streamed some weird game from the PS3 the other day.
That was fun. Army of Two.
Army of Two, that's what it was, yes. So, go check out people's streaming schedules. Will be online. I am going to get to my STO stream here soon. I promise. So, thank you guys for coming, and we will see you all next week. Have a great day, everyone.
愛してる、アディエスちゃん。
Bye.